I'm afraid no further tricks will be forthcoming." "Well, that is a disappointment." "All I can offer you in exchange for your loss is another drink." "I suppose I will have to make do." A full smile lit his already handsome face, and I gave myself a small shake and a stern lecture on the perils of men while he turned and gestured to the bartender. He ordered another gin rickey for me and a glass of water for himself. This time, when my drink appeared, it was generously poured. Too generously. I would have to take it slow, or I would find myself zozzled and lying beneath a table. "Not drinking?" I eyed his water, tiny drops of condensation making their way to the bar from where his long fingers rested on the glass. "I had a long day in the sun," he said. "Sticking with water seems a safer bet." "I see." I paused and studied him for a moment. "And what line of work are you in, Mr.—" I suddenly realized he hadn't introduced himself. "Redvers. Call me Redvers." He revealed a roguish grin as both of my eyebrows headed north. Was that a given name? A surname? It seemed I wasn't going to get any clarification on that point. "And what is it you do, Mr. Redvers?" "I'm in banking." I'm embarrassed to say I burst out laughing. He looked slightly alarmed, as if he had suddenly come across an unbalanced relative out in public. More than a few heads turned our way. "My apologies." I got hold of myself, mentally kicking myself for my rudeness. "You simply look too dangerous to be a banker." And he did. His suit was of fine linen and perfectly fit his athletic frame. Even my untrained eye could see that it was tailor-made and expensive. His dark hair was slicked in the current style, but the thick waves were giving him a great deal of trouble in taming them. He was all energy and movement, and the wolfish grin he was now giving me, along with the sparkling intelligence in his brown, nearly black eyes, gave the impression of someone who was most definitely not trapped behind a desk counting money. We continued chatting amiably before a brief lull in the conversation prompted me to offer him an out. "You know, Mr. Redvers, if you have other obligations this evening, I very much understand. I know my aunt can be persuasive, but I would hate to keep you." It was his turn to study me. "I admit that it was your aunt's suggestion that I introduce myself, but I'm quite happy where I am." I shrugged. Against my better judgment, I found myself enjoying his company and didn't entirely mind prolonging it. But I also didn't want to give him the wrong impression. Even though I was past what society considered my prime, I had done my fair share of shooting down offers since I had been widowed. And depending on the man, they didn't always take the rejection gracefully. I was not looking for anything outside of a pleasant conversation, as I kept reminding myself. But Mr. Redvers had a sharp sense of humor, something that I had sorely missed back home. The society circles that Millie moved in were stuffy, to say the least. My father's family was solidly upper middle class, but with Millie's high society marriage and then my own at the tender age of 20, it was impossible to avoid being dragged into the upper echelons of society alongside her. Just the thought of those proper circles made my eyes cross with boredom. Redvers' eyes caught on something behind my shoulder, and he suddenly looked apologetic. "But I'm afraid I do need to excuse myself for a moment. I shall return shortly." I raised my eyebrows, but excused him gracefully. I wondered what or who could have called him away as soon as he had announced he was staying. I returned to my perusal of the room. Within moments, I felt a presence behind me and turned to find a mustachioed gentleman leaning on a wooden cane. As he readjusted his broad hands, I caught a glimpse of the brass lion head perched on top of the dark mahogany stick. It looked both fierce and substantial. "Good evening, my dear," he smiled graciously. "Having any luck getting a refreshment?" I smiled at him, immediately put at ease by his demeanor. "I'm all set for the present, but the bartender has been quite attentive."